My name's Peter Dawson. I'm a radiologist in London. My professional interests are in cross-sectional imaging and general radiology. I was a physicist by initial training, so I have a considerable interest in imaging technology too. I'm a member of the Nanox Advisory Board. In the developed world, there's little shortage of the most basic plain film imaging facilities. But even here, there's a remarkably variable distribution of the more sophisticated modern technologies. The number of CT scanners per million of population ranges from 6 to 64 machines, and this variation does not reflect differences in need or demand, but rather economic and political factors. So even in many of the richer countries, it's the case that demand is running ahead of supply, and that most developed nations to some degree lack sufficient resources to meet that demand. This is, of course, essentially a matter of the high costs of much of the equipment. And if this is true in the developed world, imagine how much of a game changer it could be in the developing world. Here, the situation is stark. The World Health Organization has estimated that some 1.5 billion people have no access at all to any imaging technology, and some 1.1 billion have very poor access. And this is a situation that has remained essentially unchanged for decades. Nanox will potentially be able to provide high-quality, flexible cold tube X-ray equipment to both developed and developing worlds at a lower cost than conventional systems. The systems will have the further advantage of associated teleradiology, cloud-based storage, and ultimately artificial intelligence to tackle personnel deficits. The potential impact on accessibility to modern imaging and on both preventative medicine and medical management could be immense.
Digital tomosynthesis is a well-established technique that has become the gold standard in breast mammography. This is due to its improved sensitivity in detection of lesions, as well as its improved sensitivity that can eliminate cases of false positives. In recent years, its implementation in other body parts, such as chest and MSK, has been described in the literature. The improved accuracy of digital tomosynthesis in the evaluation of lesions such as fractures, such as lung nodules, can help to reduce the burden on advanced imaging machines. In addition, utilization of digital tomosynthesis in other facilities such as urgent care clinics, outpatient clinics, nursing homes, and geographically under-equipped areas can increase and improve healthcare to wider populations.
I'm Jeff Rubin, a member of the Nanox Advisory Board, and as I have begun to see the tomographic images from the Nanox ARC system, I can't help but think about the ways that this type of acquisition can benefit the clinical space, particularly throughout the developing world. For example, the clarity with which lung disease can be represented is impressive. And in the setting where a chest radiograph may not be diagnostic sufficiently, then the tomographic images could be very useful for showing subtle signs of pneumonia, for showing lung nodules and other subtle lung disease. Clarity of detail around skeletal abnormalities, particularly traumatic lesions and injuries of the spine and of the joints of the body, also can be displayed with great clarity. And so I look forward to this technology being released into the wild and seeing how people use it in innovative and creative ways.
Hi, I'm Norbert Pelk, Professor of Radiology Emeritus at Stanford University and a member of the Scientific Advisory Board of Nanox. I'm an imaging scientist and have devoted my career to improving tomographic diagnostic imaging systems. The ability to build small, light, reliable X-ray sources opens up the possibility for new imaging design concepts for diagnostic imaging. The Nanox ARC is a great example. One potential application is imaging lung cancer and other pulmonary diseases, perhaps for earlier detection or for follow-up. Another is trauma. These high-performance tomosynthesis systems, which avoid the superimposition problem of radiography but are simpler than CT, could be revolutionary in certain settings. They could be quite important in places with limited resources and for underserved populations. In those same settings, there's a shortage of trained staff. To be successful, we need to combine these imaging systems with easy-to-execute and reliable protocols and automation or remote assistance in image interpretation. I hope you share my enthusiasm about this technology from Nanox. Thank you.